But we are inevitably, not for the first time this season, and I very much doubt it'll be the last, we are going to start with the red half of Manchester. And Tim, I'm aware that as we start here yet again, as I said at the start, it's like Groundhog Day when it comes to Manchester. I imagine there's a lot of people throwing things at the TV right now and going, not United again. Why aren't you talking about Bournemouth? Why aren't you talking about Palace? But the size of the club merits them being a talking point. But at the moment, they're looking at best and mid-table side. So do they still merit the amount of attention we give them?
Yes, because of the support what they have worldwide. Still a huge football club, still a big pool for any player or any manager to go to. But it's a distant memory to what we remember of Manchester United. You know, certainly when I played, they were a giant, a juggernaut.
But it's all in the rear-view mirror now, and it has been for some time.
It is, but that's why we still talk about it. That's what we remember. And I, for one, I want them to be big again. I want them to be great again.
Why?
I think because it's a huge football club, it's a well-supported club, and I want more competition in the Premier League. And I think if they get it right, a club of that magnitude has got the opportunity to challenge at the top end of the division. They spend like a big side. So you can't ignore the fact that...
Well, they pay like a big side as well, don't they?
Pay money like you wouldn't believe. The players want to go and play for Manchester United. They all remember them being great. I believe they will be great again. But it looks like it's going to be a long, long way away at the moment. And they can't get anything right. They put an infrastructure in off the pitch. Hopefully that'll transmit onto the pitch. But at the moment, you'd have to say something has to give. And I'm not sure whether it's the manager. It can't continually be the players, what they've turned over. Someone has to get the best out of this group of players, and it certainly isn't this man at the moment. And I get, Clinton, what Tim's saying. Listen, they're still a huge global brand. They bring eyes to the sport right around the world, whatever they're doing. And at the moment, they're vastly underachieving as a club. But it's nice to see the old guard broken up a bit, isn't it? I mean, look at your old club, Crystal Palace, absolutely flying. Bournemouth hitting second last night. We'll talk about them a little bit later. Is it not good to see the big clubs broken up?
Yeah, of course it's good, but if you're a Man United fan, it's not good. You want to have your club back and your team back, but I totally get what you're saying. It is good that we talk about the likes of Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, and we deserve to talk about them because they're teams that are doing well, but at the moment, Man United are not doing well. It's nowhere near good enough. I've said it many a times. This week, he comes under pressure again, playing against a good Sunderland team. But knowing how I know it's worked out for him recently, he'll get a result this afternoon because that's how it's been. And then the heat will be off him for 1 week, then he'll lose again. And then,
they play Liverpool after the international break. So you can imagine the week after that, we're sat here again.
And we're talking about it again. But they need to get some consistency. Over the last few years, it's not been good enough. And that's the biggest thing. They are big players.
Yeah.
And if they are big players, they're still a huge football club. And it'll always be a big... football club, but they have to start delivering on the pitch. It's been nowhere near good enough. And I'll go back to it and I keep saying, he's a good manager, but good managers know how to change. Tim will be able to tell you. He hasn't been able to change. He sticks with that formation. And everyone on here and everyone in the media talk about maybe it's a change to try and get the best out of your player, Bruno Fernandes, who is not very good in a 2. He's better in a 3, where he can be the free row in a number 10. And he's not listening to anyone. You have to change or you lose your job site.
And I just wonder, Sue, because it's system is what we talk about every time we talk about Ruben Amorim. But you need your players to buy into it. You look at the body language of Harry Maguire when he came off during that defeat against Brentford a week ago. It looks from afar like the players don't even believe in what he's trying to do. And when you're in that situation, you've got a massive problem.
Yeah, that is the problem. I think when the players don't buy into it, I think as a player, you buy into things that work. So I think if you keep losing and things keep not going the way that you want them to go, eventually you just go, well, this isn't working. You know, as a player, you want to be the best version of yourself, but you also want, you know, from whether it's a defensive perspective, you know, we saw Brentford absolutely brilliant in terms of they identified where Manchester United's weaknesses were.
And this is even the Brentford side that we saw last season. Some key players have gone.
Yeah, and you've got to praise, you know, Keith Andrews, because he's looked at what Manchester United have struggled with. And you can say it's a long direct ball, but it's a direct ball with purpose, isn't it? And we've said Manchester United have strengthened in those attacking areas. It was something they needed to do last season. Not enough goals, not enough creativity. They've done that. They haven't done anything defensively. In midfield, you know, they need that sort of athlete, the physicality in there. If they're going to play this system, you know, we've saw defensively, the back three, it's just not worked with the players that they've got. The wing backs, it's not worked for them. He's then chopping and changing, so he's not got any consistency because he doesn't know who's the best 3 to play in there. So yes, they've had injuries as well, but we keep talking about the system because it hasn't worked, has it? It's not suiting the players that he's got.
And you look at that result so far this season. I mean, it's also been a continuation, really, of what we saw last season. And listen, in terms of where the blame lies at the moment, in terms of whether it's just on Amorim, whether it's on Jim Ratcliffe, but they brought him in knowing that he was wedded to this particular style. So where do you put the blame for where United are right now? You can't put it all on him. Nope. This has been going for a while.
It's got to be collective. It starts at the top and everyone has to take responsibility. But what I will say in the summer is as I looked at the recruitment and Bumo, Cunha coming in, Sesko coming in, we weren't too sure what it was going to be like, still very, very young coming to the Premier League. We saw it with Højlund, it didn't work, paid big money, ship him on. And then you look at the position where you go, they probably really need to go and recruit in a Donnarumma or someone like that, in a goalkeeper. We saw the goals go in there against Brentford. And, you know, you keep playing the same way and you don't keep doing your jobs and you're not improving, it's going to be the same outcome. If you've got something successful, you don't move away from it, do you? You keep doing the same thing. And if it's not going right, maybe you have to adapt. And I look at that team and think it's set up for a 4-3-3. So why not change? Because we're not seeing an improvement. And this is Ruben Amorim's question mark over him is... You see him there tactically. You can do all the tactics there. This is Grimsby away from home, and you look there, he looks lost. And one thing as a player, I've experienced this from managers. What you look to is your leader at the top of the pile. And some of his media comments, and when he first got the job, he came out, he was bullish. And I sat here when he got the job and went, I really like him. He comes across, great character. I tell you what, when the going gets tough, is there much of a character in there? He's talked about sometimes, I'm not sure if I like this job or I'm enjoying it. Well, do you know what? You're a manager. You have to galvanise your team. You are the top. And that's where you look to when you look. It makes changes and it's not working. So for me, it has to be adaptable. And if you're not, he's stubborn and there's only going to be one outcome.
I think the players all want to play. So you've got Maguire, you've got De Ligt, you've got Casemiro, experienced players. They can see something's not working, but they're scared almost to go to the manager and have that frank conversation and saying, Gaffer, this is not working, we need to change something. Whereas I hate that we're blaming the system. I hate that. It's up to the manager to get the best out of the individuals. He has improved nobody. But because he's on the media, he's so strong about the system and he won't change. Even if the Pope asked him to change, he will not do it. It makes it impossible. If you go to him and say, I'm not happy in this system, I'd admit, I'll hold my hands up. None of us across the back five are responsible. We seem to all be leaving it to each other, rather than if we play a flat back four, then you take the winger, you take the centre forward, you wait till the 10 comes in, you push in. It's easier. We've all grown up playing with a 4 at the back. A 5 is a little bit more sophisticated, but it's not working. It's not working, but I hate to blame the system. Get the best out of the individual. There's a group of players, what you have. They spent an absolute fortune giving you the tools to be successful. And you failed miserably at the moment. Hopefully you can get a result and turn it around. This team have not won back-to-back since he's been there. Yeah. It's impossible for Manchester United.
You know, like, so if you're the manager there, yeah, and you hear everyone talking about the system and that, surely when you were manager, and I know you was, you would have a plan B.
No, you change.
You change.
No, but even if you haven't got a plan B, you try something. Yeah. You try something different. But he seems to think there's a notion that if you change, you're selling your soul. It's nonsense. You have to change. The best managers in the world change, tweak. You know, don't just throw it all out the window. There'll be certain aspects and what you want to continue with, but you have to tweak your formation. Does
he maybe fear change because he's never tried to change and he's at the biggest club in the world, so he's thinking...
Absolutely.
I think it could work, but I daren't.
I think the Premier League has absolutely smashed him in the face, and he cannot believe the competitive nature of it. I think when he's in Portugal, he's got 4 games a year. If you're managing Porto,
that is a gross exaggeration, but I know what you're saying.
He means against the top teams.
There's 3 teams in there who can win the league. It's Benfica. You look at the history. It's Porto, it's Benfica, it's Sporting Lisbon, where he's been. So you can build and you can experiment on the job when you play against the lesser sides. And then you get the results and then all the players look at you and think you're the messiah because you're making all these little tweaks against the lesser sides and it's all coming off and you're winning games and then you're lifting the trophy at the end of the season. Congratulations. This is the Premier League. If you tweak on the job here, you will get beat. The pressure comes. You're at a huge football club. I just don't know what the answer is. I
And
really
do
don't.
you think it's gone too far now, though? Do you think because he's stuck to this system so long, do you think it's just gone too far?
Sue, if you went to see Ruben and you said, like, I'm really not happy in the system, you know what he would do? He would listen to you. What he would say is, you don't play then.
Yeah.
Well,
that is a
we've
problem.
seen him doing that
That's
already.
why they're scared of doing that. They won't do that, but they should for the good of the side. The experienced players need to get together and they need to go and see him and then just say, Gaffer, let's try and let's get a win here.
And that's the thing. That's the thing, Tim. You talk about results. There's been fine margins. Obviously, Fulham, Bruno missed a penalty last week against Brentford. But it all comes back to we're reflecting on it because they lost another game. Bruno misses a penalty. There should have been a red card by Collins. But ultimately, I'm not just going on results. We look back and go, is this team improving? Do I see something from them going, all right, results haven't been quite right, but am I seeing them improve? Are they all aboard of this way of playing and going,
well, picking up on what Tim said, could you name a single player? This was the same thing we talked about with Ten Hag, who've improved under Amorim since he arrived.
No.
Well, that's damning in itself, isn't it?
It is.
Because you can argue there's a lot of players, he's made lesser players. Look at the likes of Mainu. You know, they're struggling under him.
No, Dosh, you'll be there thinking all day and all night.
We've got till 6.
A little bit of defence in his way of going. I said he wouldn't change from the way he was going to play, but I want to see an improvement from the team and going, look, it's going to take time, which we always said it would. We knew it weren't going to be a quick fix because we've seen this for a long time with Manchester United, and I don't want to see managers get sacked. But what I want to do see, in the time he's been in that football club, as a team improved, as an individual improved, and I don't think we can say yes.
But the thing is, Sue, I mean, listening to Wayne Rooney, and listen, he's got a very mixed managerial career, but when your record goal scorer says something about the club, you take note. He says, I don't recognise the whole football club. I don't see players fighting. I don't see character. I don't see a desire to win. That's not just down to Amorim. That's a wider cultural issue at the club, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, we've seen players go out, haven't we? And suddenly they start performing when they go out of the football club. So I think there's a lot of things to look at. I think it's definitely a collective because, you know, I think Dors touched on it. You've got to look at the people that have brought Amorim in. They knew exactly how he was going to play. So that was clearly no surprise, was it, that he was going to come in and he was going to stick to that system and play that system. They've then backed him, and then they're in a bit of a dilemma then, aren't they? Because you've backed him, you've given him the money. Do you then go and, you know, bring another manager in and back them? And it's just a continuous cycle, isn't it? But it's come to a point now where Manchester United, they're not winning games. You don't want a season like last season finishing, was it 15th? A club like that can't be doing that. So, yes, then you can look at the players and say, well, they should be giving their all. But it's tough, isn't it? Because you can see that they can't quite play the way he wants them to play defensively. He wants them to be quite proactive, doesn't he? Get into that midfield area. They look a bit
I don't know.
caught, don't they?
If you ask me how does he want to play, I really don't know. and I think the players would say the same.
And it looks like
and I don't think you have to make wholesale changes.
Yeah.
I don't think with players. I think the recruitment has to be so these players are adaptable to playing different formations. It's up to the manager then to teach them how he wants them to play. Yeah. He's had plenty of times on the training pitch. Plenty of opportunity. They've got plenty of opportunity now because they're out of the Carabao Cup. They're not in Europe. He's got all week to work of them just for one game in the Premier League. And then when the FA Cup comes around, they need to pick up a trophy. But he needs to teach them. Are we seeing an improvement on any of them individually and as a collective on a team formation? Absolutely not.
Clinton, there seems to be a decent amount of confidence they get something today against Sunderland, who, by the way, made their best start of a top-flight season in well over half a century. It's not going to be easy today, but then it's Liverpool away after the international break. If they do decide to make a change, do you think they will?
No, they won't.
You don't?
No, they won't make it.
Because I was going to make the point that already they backed him in the transfer window that's centred around this system, isn't it? So to bin him already doesn't make sense, but from a form-wise, does make sense.
We don't hear any noise from Man United or from the hierarchy that he's under pressure. We're not hearing that. All we're hearing is that he's back. The only noise we're hearing is from us in the media saying he's not doing well enough. And he's not. He's at Man United Football Club. I don't care what anyone says. I agreed with what Tim said earlier. When I was playing, they were the best team by a country mile alongside Arsenal. They were outstanding. They were winning everything. And I just look at it and some of the, I look sometimes, the manager's struggling, but I also look, do some of the players know they're playing for Man United Football Club? Do they know what it takes to go, how much people would have loved to have gone to play for Man United when they were of a youngster?
I think they do, and that's the problem. It's too big.
So the club's too big for them then. Sometimes when you go into a club like Man United, the shirt's too big for you because the players are not producing. Nowhere near good enough. I'm telling you now, I said it many times, I would have walked up the motorway to play for them and I'd have given 100%. And I might not have been as talented as some of the players that they've got there, but I know when I cross that white line, I'm doing my job without a shadow of doubt.
I think they're trying, Clinton.
They are trying. I would never say players are not trying. They're definitely trying, just not good enough. I don't think that system's working. The players are not working that system because you see what's happening at Palace. That's working, but it's not working there at Man United.
Final question, Dors. If it all goes wrong at home today against Sunderland, does he survive the international break for you?
Ooh, yeah, I think he does. I do. I mean, there's been an awful lot of talk for long enough, and we keep saying, is this the last game? I think they get a result against Sunderland today.
Yeah.
I really do, because then it'll prolong, and we'll be talking about it again in 2 weeks' time when we sat on the show. But because there doesn't seem any talk from inside the club, there's pressure. Yeah. It's all from outside. But if you work for that football club, but my only problem with not problem, but concern with Manchester United is he's so stubborn, and he's coming out and making it like that. So it's like, is he wanting to be put out of that? Like, go on, I'm not changing.
It feels like he's sort of hanging out there, isn't he? But then if you look at Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and they paid nearly 10 million to get him out of Sporting, to bring him in last season, and there's been cutbacks at the club. People who've been there for many, many years being made redundant from a financial point of view and a pride point of view for Ratcliffe. This is one almighty climb down if they decide to go elsewhere.
Oh, it certainly is, because they did everything to get him in the door. And Ruben Amorim knew it was a challenging job. We all knew it was a challenging job, but we thought he could improve the team because of the job he'd done at Sporting Lisbon. And we just haven't seen that. And it brings numerous challenges working for that football club. It has done for different managers over the years, but we just can't seem to see any improvement. And it's challenging for Manchester United, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe will understand that. But then what does he do if it changes? Who does he then look to? Because he's gone down the line numerous times to change it, and there's been no improvement. So I think it's only a matter of time, and the way he comes in the media is hoping that...
He'll still be the manager come the end of the season.
Really?
Do you think so?
No, I don't. I think
Clip that up, everyone. Clip that up.
I asked the question.
Yeah, I don't think he will be.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
I thought you were making a statement.
No, I asked Dors.
Not come the end of the season, no.
Okay.
I don't.